Hey, everybody, and welcome to our second session of the day. This one is super exciting. It's just a really fun topic. We are here with Enrique Acosta Gonzalez. Hopefully, I said that right. It's such a mouthful coming from Jordana McGonigal. But we are here. Enrique is a great supporter of ours. He has some great stuff. Before we get started, though, I've got a poll that I want you guys to answer. Up on the screen. So if you've got a podcast of your own or don't you? If you don't, this is a great place to be. If you do, it's still a great place to be. So definitely do a quick answer for me. Let us know in the next couple seconds if you got one. And then if you have a podcast, here's the tricky part, go on over to the chat room and share a link to it so that everyone can join you on your podcast, get a few extra followers there. So all right, we've got most of the room, Enrique. No, they don't have one yet. The pressure is on. I think you can rise to the occasion, though. So I'll keep the poll open, but we're going to take it off the stage, and we're going to hand everything over to Enrique.
Hey, everybody. I'm just getting in here and putting my podcast on the chat there. I'm Enrique Acosta Gonzalez. So happy to be with you today. I'm excited about this topic, not only because I am a podcaster and hold a couple podcasts myself, one namely Developing the Leader Within podcast, and then a veteran-centric podcast called the Leadership Void podcast. I'll put that also in the link once we're done with today. But I'm going to just share briefly, you know, uh, let me, something's going on here with deny or whatever, but maybe I won't share that. But in any case, I'm going to give you a descriptive of what we're going to be talking about today. Number one, as we head into next week, happy birthday, Marines, 247 years. Hoorah, Devil Dogs. I served in the Navy for 26 years. I was a seagoing amphib sailor, right? So my heart is with the Marines. Thank you for your service, all of you that are on here, but especially the Marines as they come into their birthday. We will be talking about podcasting. Now, podcasting as a transition tool. And what I want you to consider is that podcasting may not be the career decision that you was thinking of, but let me tell you how that has impacted me. And maybe you'll consider it for yours. Nice to see Jane and Heather and all the folks that I connected with today. But how you can use podcasting to ease and aid your transition, build your network, and find your passion. Now, Matt, brother, you killed it. Speaking about the crossroads between focus and flex and the killer bees, I know everybody enjoyed that. But today I want to get you into this area of flex, as Matt was talking about, because not everything will pan out for you as you transition up. My wife said that the other day, you're still struggling with transition. Can you imagine that after 5, 6, 7 years? I'm still struggling with transition. That's not something that's not common. There's a lot of you that may say, yeah, Enrique, yeah, I'm still struggling. Or maybe you got it all in the bag and that's great. But using podcasting was one of the best things that I could have done. Number one, and we're going to be talking about these 5 items: education, network, expanding your view, collaboration, and create the new you. And I'm going to tell you that podcasting was not my first go-to. Although it seems like I've been speaking for a while, and which I am, I got about 300 episodes under my belt now. Last 3 years running several podcasts, but if there was anything that podcasting allowed for me to do was expand my education. Now, many of you will endeavor to go get your bachelor's degree, your master's degree. We saw Matt got his doctorate degree. Education has many facets to it. But one thing that podcasting did for me was it educated me with how the world viewed leadership. We get a form of leadership in the military, very structured, very pointed, and it has this little cubby. But the world does not see leadership in the same way. The world doesn't execute leadership in the same way. The world will demand of a leader something different than we do in the military. Now you would think both will marry and everybody singing the same song, but that's not the case. And so what happened with podcasting was that I started to get educated on worldview leadership. It is different. It is dynamic. Sometimes it'll throw you for a loop, right? Because and I'll give you an example. My second job post military, the CEO asked me to lie. Now, if you knew anything about me, I don't do that. It's not going to happen. I won't do it because I have my own set of rules and set of morals and standards that that's just not going to happen, right? So in the military, nobody asked me to lie. I never had to lie. Now, I had to mask what kind of direction and how to actually develop a plan around how we was going to march to this maybe not so good objective, but I was never asked to lie. And it happened. It happened outside, right? And so you have to be ready and educate yourself. Podcasting allowed me to do that. I spoke to many people that gave me different perspectives around the world. Now, thankfully, I've had opportunity to speak around different worlds from the confines of my home, which is wonderful. But I have spoken to leaders around the globe. It would not happen had I not gotten into podcasting. And what I want you to consider is that um, the way the United States see things is not the way the world sees it. And I want you to open up your mind. Matt, talk about this, right? Spanning your view, getting a little exposed to things that may not be the same for you. The world perspective will do that. And so, if you aim to educate yourself, and you want to go down the road of seeing things differently, maybe you might work for somebody in those countries. Everybody's looking for a job here in the United States. But what about if your job is abroad? Wouldn't you take a job if that's what you're looking for? And a lot of times there are companies that are looking for Americans that have a caliber, they have a certain leadership experience that they lack. And so don't be afraid of that neither, right? But educate yourself. Formal education is not the only thing out there, and podcasting can do that for you. Now, let's talk about the second thing that podcasting did for me to ease my transition. It is said that your network is your net worth. And I'm going to tell you that that is not entirely true, but it's mostly true because your net worth should come from you. There should not be any external value added to you to make you feel worthy of anything. So I'm going to leave that at that because it might be a whole different session here. But network does have a huge value in your transition. What did podcasting do for me? It allowed me to speak to over 100 leaders around the world that, oh, by the way, have their own network. And so I inadvertently tied myself to them and their network based on them being on my show. It wouldn't have happened if I did not podcast. And not only did I get to meet individuals around the world, I got exposed to events and I got exposed to award ceremonies and I got invited to be on other podcasts, and then I started doing a TV, and it just snowballed throughout the whole experience. And if it's anything that we will miss when we separate from the military, is the fact that our network has dwindled to whoever reaches out whenever they feel like it. I don't know if that's been your experience post or while you're in the military, but post military, I had a lot of acquaintances and I had a lot of friends, and it trickled down to a handful that would pop in and out of my life via text or an email or a message. My network was basically gone. And all of the things that I had accumulated to the point of, um, that day that I left the base for the last time as an active duty person went away, you know. And so now you have to start building that up. And podcasting allowed me to not only meet a great amount of professionals out there doing great things, veterans and CEOs of veteran owned small businesses that I would have never met had I, while I was in the military. But now I have to reestablish myself. So your network will undoubtedly lead you down a different and prosperous path depending on who you network with. But don't be afraid, because being lonely is a scary thing, right? But you're not alone. And events like this, that are put on by Recon, I totally love, because today I was looking at the amount of folks that were in here. We're expecting 200. I saw 80 something early this morning. That is a network base that you should be gravitating to. Folks that are like-minded, looking for a way forward, and you can help each other. Now, let me tell you, networking and putting myself in a position because of my podcast led to, I'm going to show you this right here real quick. In my first year of podcasting, I'm not telling you it will happen to you. I'm just giving you an example of something that happened to me. I was blessed. This is the 2021 Rosie Network Media Professional of the Year Award. I am not showing you this for some accolade or none. What I'm telling you is, you never know. You never know what you don't know. And you'll never go anywhere that you can't map to. And so that networking and meeting so many great people allowed someone else to look in and say, wow, this guy's got something. He's talking about leadership, and now obviously I do leadership. He's talking about leadership from a worldwide perspective. How great is that? And I was thankfully and humbly selected. Now, it's not all for the accolades; those are great. We while in service, we have a chest full. It's not all for that now. It's for giving back to a nation that gave me so much, and that's what I want to do. Except now I've included the international scene. So, you want to get far, or you want to go somewhere fast, you go by yourself. If you want to go somewhere far, you go with somebody else. And that's what networking does. Through podcasting, it's easier because I can get to reach out to folks, and people like to be on podcasts. But what happened from there is amazing. And so I encourage you to not only use podcasting as an education form, but a way to network. Now, I know that there is at least one other podcaster here in the group. And so, I think it's Jessica. Thank you for doing that. I believe she's like in episode 36 or so. Keep going, girl. Keep going. All right. Number 3, how to use podcasting to help your transition. It helps you to expand your view. Now, I talked to you about international guests on my podcast. They have opened my eyes. Not that it wasn't already known that international, um, you know, think about leadership differently, but it opened my eyes because the current situation around the world was viewed differently from different parts of the world. And that expanded my view on how these items and how these moments in time were being addressed. And I was able to bring that to the States, and I was able to bring that to my listeners. But more importantly, by expanding my view and using podcasting, I found my passion. Everybody is looking for their passion. Everybody is encouraging you to find your passion, to find your why, right? There was a book written, everybody's raving about it, but few people find their passion. You never know what you're going to find when you start podcasting. It may not be podcasting itself. You might find that your passion is editing a video or editing audio. You may build a corporation around specific things. Now, I don't know how many of you know Rich Cardona. Rich is a Marine Corps veteran that has an entrepreneurial journey, but he found it first. He started with audio and doing video, and now he's strictly doing podcasting because he found his passion that way. And I believe that's where I'm at. I think I'm staying here for quite a while, and using leadership as a platform for that. But expand your view, find your passion, and it may not be podcasting, but you never know. You might talk to somebody and they might convince you that something else may be it, but you'll never know it until you go try to find it. Number 4, collaboration. Spoke about the many people that I have been able to interject and and collaborate with. Collaboration builds a community, and one of the things that we lose when we leave the military is that sense of community. There were many months after I retired that I felt quite alone because it almost did feel like they said, "Have a nice life." It almost did, and I was there questioning why those 26 years when if that's how they were going to treat me, I could have got that in 4 and then just made the rest of my life. Um, but these are questions that are going to come up once you leave. If you don't collaborate and build a community, it's going to get very lonely. And I encourage you to really, really start building that. It starts with networking, and you can build from there, because once you start collaborating and becoming part of a community, and I see Hope put the pressure-free leadership series. I was fortunate to be part of that series, so you'll see a snippet or a segment on leadership for that. But collaboration builds community. Community builds purpose. Once you go down the road of collaborating, and now there's many organizations. You may find yourself collaborating on an event like this that we have here with Jordana, which, by the way, kudos to this event and everything that you do. So build your community. Don't be afraid. Nobody's out there trying to get you, but you have to go get it, right? I think Matt said they ain't coming for you. Nobody's coming for you. But by all means, it starts right here. If you're not connected with all these individuals in this summit for the next 2 days, shame on you, because that's a missed opportunity. There's a lot of folks on this in this summit that are going to be potential guests for me in 2023. Think about it. Community, community, community. Now, I want to talk briefly about the last piece, which is create the new you. Don't sell yourself short. Don't do that. Yes, you have this military background. Yes, you have all these accolades and awards. Yes, you're going to have to transition all of that work into, into civilian speak, right? And Brian Arrington is on, and I know that they help with that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of individuals in this summit that will help you translate all of that, right? Find the new you, because it's new. It's a new world. I talk to a lot of people, and I tell them, we are the 1% that the 99 forgot. For whatever amount of time you were serving, you were separated from the world, from the mainstream world. And they learned to live without you. And you have to come to grips with that. Right? That's why I encourage a lot of people that come out, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Take your time. 99% of this world learned to live without you for whatever amount of time you were there. And so take your time and create the new you. This world, you are new to this world once you separate. But what does that also do for you? It allows you to create a new stream of income. Podcasting did that for me. I do episodes. I have sponsors. Matter of fact, I just signed another sponsor on 3 days ago. And another sponsor reached out to me for another sponsorship. That's money. And I'm talking to people around the world from the comfort of my home, and I'm getting sponsored. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you this data. My very first sponsor was $10,000. I don't know how many of you will take $10,000 today. And that's just for 1 year. So imagine if you get 5, 6, 7 sponsors for 1 year at 10,000 each. Right? And so you can actually not only create the new you, but you can create a new source of income for yourself. Folks, I have a lot to say, but I have a limited amount of time. How you can use podcasting to ease and aid your transition and build your network and find your passion. If you follow these 5 things, you can get there. Please connect with me. That is all, Jordana, I have for everybody today. Please connect with me. Please visit me at my booth, Triad Leadership Solutions, and I will help anybody on here with establishing and getting their podcast going if you want. But thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Enrique, thank you so much. That was amazing. And we're going to be starting a podcast next year. So it was great to hear from someone who has been there, what we need to be doing. And I may just call for advice every now and again as well. So guys, if you've had a great time, please go down, use those emojis down at the bottom, and let's thank Enrique for joining us. I appreciate that. Also, you've got about 30 minutes till the next session. It's a great time to grab some food, grab a snack, head over to the booth. Again, join us in the lounge, and we'll see you there.